We're back. What's going on, Rangers fans? My name is Jimmy Fanizzi, and welcome to a brand new season of From the Blue Seats, a New York Rangers podcast presented by DraftKings. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Make sure you follow us on X and Instagram at BlueSeats94 and use the hashtag BlueSeats to chat with us on any and all topics at hand. You can also send us fan mail from the Blue Seats at gmail.com with any questions or opinions that you have about the show. Or if you just want a friendly chat, that's fine too. That's from the blue seats at gmail.com. Also, make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube and subscribe on all audio platforms. And be sure to rate us 5 stars. It would mean the world to us. All is right with the world. The NFL is back, but more importantly, it's a brand new season of hockey right around the corner, folks. We are one day closer to New York Rangers hockey. Training camps and rookie camps are getting underway this week. Exciting things happening. And not only is it a brand new season for this show, it is season 3. And for those who have stuck around this far, thank you very much. And if you are new here, welcome aboard, and we are very happy to have you. But it is also the 100th year for the New York Rangers organization. They were established in 1926, and it really is amazing to see how this organization has really evolved over time. I really wish time machines were invented so I could go back to 1926 to see what the first game was the Rangers played with Lester Patrick and those boys, but that's neither here or there. But this is the 100th year, and hopefully it'll be a much better year for the boys than last year. But we're not going to talk about last year. We're going to preview this season and whether or not they can get back in the postseason. But thankfully, I am not alone for this discussion. I got an entire Rangers Roundtable for this episode. My first guest, regular contributor to the show. I always make the joke he might as well be my co-host. That's how often he's on this show. Please help me welcome back the one and only Jeffrey Krentzman of Mind Your Pucking Business. Jeff, always a pleasure to chat with you, my friend. And we are one step closer to Rangers hockey. How you doing, my friend?
I am good, Jimmy. I hope you had a good summer. It's good to be back with you as we're on the precipice of another season, and looking forward to more episodes of From the Blue Seats this coming season.
Absolutely, and I appreciate those kind words, my friend. And it's been a while since I've actually collabed with these guys. We did a collab once before in seasons past, but it's always nice to have these guys on talking Rangers hockey. But never have I chatted with these two before. I'm talking about Coach Ed and producer PJ from the Rangers Ed podcast. Gentlemen, it is an absolute pleasure to have you on and to speak with you. How's everything with you both?
I'm a little afraid when you say it's a pleasure, but it's okay. Good to see. Good to be back with Mind Your Pucking Business crew, and everything's going good, and we're looking forward to the season. We're going to the Prospect weekend this weekend, and we're looking forward to that, and we'll see what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. PJ, it's nice to meet you officially. How's everything?
Yeah, you too, Jimmy. Appreciate you having me on. Excited to talk Rangers. I can't believe it's finally back. It's felt like the longest off season of all time. Like, I'm crazy.
But a very productive offseason at that, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But before we even get into the season preview and all that stuff, we actually had some news that came in this morning at the time of this recording. It is September 8th, 2025 at the time of recording this. We actually have some hockey operations staff updates from the Rangers as of this moment. We have Ryan Martin, who has been promoted to associate GM as he will continue his role as general manager of the Hartford Wolfpack. Jim Sullivan has been promoted to assistant GM. Ryan Clough is back with the Rangers, but not as a player. He will be an assistant general manager after his surprising resignation from the San Jose Sharks. So Ryan Clough is back with the Rangers. And Blake Wheeler has been named hockey operations advisor. So you're seeing a whole new front office working under Chris Drury. So, Jeff, I'll start with you here. Just give me your overall thoughts on these hires and whether or not you think it'll help Chris Drury in the long run.
Oh, we have to deal with Blake Wheeler again. That was the first when I saw that graphic this morning. I was like, I can't even believe it. Ryan in San Jose, Clough has records in the past with Sullivan and Drury from their BU days, so I don't think it surprises me. I even read somewhere the other day, I don't remember where I saw it, that when he resigned from San Jose. I guess it was kind of an abrupt resignation. They weren't expecting it, and a lot of people suspected he was coming to Broadway. I wish those people predicted Powerball numbers also, because they got that right, apparently. But look, at the end of the day, this organization is still run by Drury. He has the final say on everything, and I'm still convinced Sather is still lurking in the background of every major move. So I don't mind them shaking things up. Obviously, after the year they had last year, I'd rather you not come back with the exact same group. But I still think at the end of the day, I mean, this is Drury's say, so I don't really read into it too much.
What about you, Coach?
I kind of agree with that statement. I mean, I don't know why you don't like Blake Wheeler so much. I think he was a good teammate, definitely a veteran in the league. He's been around a long time, and I think he could help out some young players, whatever capacity he's in. But, I mean, I think these guys are just more or less helping out alumni pretty much and grooming people to move up if they want to. But, you know, like Jeff said, it's going to be Drury's team for sure.
PJ?
Yeah, I found it interesting that for as long as Drury's been GM, he's kind of been a lone wolf. Like, it seems like he is kind of type A personality, does his thing, doesn't really let anything out until last year kind of went haywire. And it seems like them bringing more people into the room and more voices in the room kind of is interesting to me. Almost like between some of the comments you heard when he traded Keandre and Kreider and how well they were handled, and then now him making more voices around him and trying to strengthen the relationship with Sullivan off the bat, it shows me he's learning from these last few years. I think he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. You heard a lot of complaints, especially in that Vince article last year, where it seemed like there was a lot of internal turmoil throughout the whole organization. So it just seems to me that maybe he wants more heads in there, better group around him, and hopefully, learning from his mistakes.
Well, you say that, PJ, so let me bounce this off of you. Since you think that way, since you think he has learned a little bit, do you think that this year Chris Drury should be on the hot seat, and if things don't change, he could very well get fired?
Yeah, I do. I think the extension means nothing to me. I thought the extension was more so a shot at the players to say, hey, last year's not going to fly. Like, you can't do that, try to get the GM fired. You've already done this with coaches, right? So I think if the Rangers have another year like last year, they don't make the playoffs and don't show, improvement, I would not be shocked. We've seen Dolan do stuff like that before, and it can't fly anymore. Like, it's got to be better. And like even Fox said at the end of the year, it's time for coaches to outlast the players. And I don't think it's going to be the coach anymore that falls on the sword.
Coach, what do you think about that?
I mean, I agree with PJ to a degree, but you can't base last year on the GM for sure. I mean, the players, I get that there was a couple of mistakes made, but at the end of the day, you got to suck it up and you got to play hockey. I mean, to just give up because of the Trouber situation and a couple other things that went on, I don't know. That doesn't show good character by any means. I think that's why they moved out a lot of guys. And hopefully it's a message sent and well taken.
Go ahead, Jeff. I apologize.
No, all good. I would think PJ is right. I mean, you got to remember, you're dealing with an owner here who was unhappy with Tom Thibodeau and $30 million or whatever it was. So if you think that the new contract is going to prevent Dolan 9 months from now, if they have a bad season, from saying, you know what, I can't fire him, I just gave him an extension. He doesn't care. This is pocket change to James Dolan. I mean, we should all be so fortunate to be in that situation. But I do think I think also Coach is right. Like, last year was not necessarily on Drury. I mean, Drury took way more heat than he deserved. That's not to say he was innocent in it by any stretch of the imagination, but he seemed to be the scapegoat for it. But I also would agree with what PJ said. Like, it's not necessary, or I think it was Ed. I forgot which one you just said it. That, you've been through two coaches already. At some point, it's got to be the GM. If the third coach and the third thing doesn't work out, maybe 3 strikes and you're out. But I would agree with what both PJ and Coach said.
Well, Jeff, I think it's becoming more and more Drury's team. He inherited quite a bit, and I think he's ironing it out. So hopefully it's going to head in the right direction. The only negative thing I didn't like about it was he should have stepped up to the forefront and talked, and the communication was lacking where we were all guessing. Everybody was guessing. The news writers, everybody was just
I
guessing
agree with
what's
that.
going on, you know. And so if this is your opinion as a GM, then come out and say it. You know,
I agree,
step up
100%.
to the podium and talk. You know.
Yep. Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good point, Coach. The only thing I don't know is it. I mean, Drury never says anything, right? I mean, you wouldn't even know he's the general manager. You never see him. It's also he's also in line, like the way that he handles himself with that, like Dolan. Dolan doesn't say a lot either. So I don't know if he's restricted by Dolan. I don't know if it's him that doesn't want to talk. I don't know if it's a garden policy. Like they say nothing. Like we were saying on MYPB last week. I mean. You think about how this team says nothing before it happens. And on a simple Friday in December last year, at 11 o'clock, it came out Trouba wasn't playing that night versus Pittsburgh. At 2 o'clock, he was traded to Anaheim. And at 5 o'clock, Igor's extension was announced. Like, you have no idea when anything is coming with this organization ever. No one says anything. And the communication, you're spot on, is lacking. I don't know if that's from above him or that's him, but wherever it is, it's just not existent.
Well, that's a definite good point because look at the John Davidson, Jeff Gordon situation. As soon as they came out and said something, they were gone. So maybe it is a policy that we don't know about, and that's you know, Dolan. I don't know. He might read him the riot act, and JD's not gonna, you know, he's gonna say what's on his mind. He's been around way too long, so
yeah,
good for him.
PJ, what do you got to say about this?
Yeah, I was just going to say it could be a garden thing. I mean, I'm not a huge basketball guy, but I know Leon Rose, the GM of the Knicks, never speaks. I think he spoke.
No, he doesn't.
And he has not spoken since. Literally has not spoken since. At least Drury will do, you know, a quasi 10-minute presser with on Zoom. No, he doesn't really say anything. He's really good at wording things to not say anything, but it's interesting. Yeah, I would like more, you know, from him, but it's almost like when he does talk, he doesn't really say anything anyway. So like we're never really going to know unless people leak stuff, which doesn't seem like that happens either. Although last year felt like a different world because everything was getting leaked. I think everyone was just going down the tubes with the season, the players, and just everyone was just pissed off and it was getting out.
Yeah, but I think the bottom line here, I think we can all agree that, you know, Chris Drury, if things don't change this year, he will definitely be. I think he's already on the hot seat, period. And we haven't even played a game yet. But if things spiral downward again, I think you will see him fall on the sword and definitely be fired. But with that being said, let us now discuss how much better did this team really get during the offseason? Because on paper, it looks pretty damn good. You know, they traded Keandre Miller, which, Jeff, you and I have talked about this ad nauseum. I said he should have been traded last year during the trade deadline, during last year's offseason, the works. You've heard my rants on that for a while. But they finally traded him away. What's that?
I like you.
I appreciate that, Coach. Thanks. But no, they traded him away for a defensive prospect in Scott Morrow, who I've heard is very promising, but we probably will not see him at some point this year from what I am hearing, but maybe that'll change. I don't know. But I've heard very good things about him. And Keandre Miller then proceeds to get an 8-year extension. I don't know why. Maybe because we know that he'll haunt us for the rest of the years to come, but we shall see. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. But they traded away Keandre Miller, and then they signed a couple of depth players as well. They got Taylor Radish, Calvin DeHaan. They still have Carson Souce. They still have Parson. They still have Vakanainen. But then the big move came in which they acquired Vladislav Gavrikov from the Kings. They signed him to a 7-year contract. And to me, I think that's the best move that they could have made, because not only did Vlad take a little bit of a pay cut, because he could have went anywhere else and signed an 8-9-year contract, or heck, maybe even an 11-year contract somewhere. He took a pay cut to come to the Rangers. And not only that, he's going to be paired with Adam Fox, who is going to benefit so much from his style of play. If you watch film of Gavrikov, he is one of the most underrated defensemen I've ever seen. He has a nose for the puck. He knows how to block shots. He knows how to generate traffic. And with Adam Fox at his side, Fox is going to learn so much from him. And for Gavrikov to take a pay cut like that to come to this team, I applaud him for that. So for me personally, and Coach, I'll throw this at you, that for me is probably one of the best moves this offseason, getting Gavrikov.
I mean, you can't argue that. I mean, they get rid of Trouba. There was obviously a hole in the defense for all season. not that I'm blaming the defense, but the search for a good partner for Adam Fox has been going on for a year and a half or so. I mean, I love Lindgren, but he wasn't going to bring Fox to the next level. And
Lindgren was always going to be a question mark health-wise. I understand he's always been like a durable defenseman, but at what point, if you could keep getting hurt that much, at what point do you say, all right, enough is enough, we can't rely on you anymore? And hey, I hope he does well in Colorado, I do. But at what point do you say, you know what, we're not going to take it anymore?
Well, that's what happened, obviously. You know, they made that decision, and once the season was shot, that was a great pickup to grab that guy. I mean, I'm not that familiar with him. Obviously, he plays in LA, so I don't know him that well to watch him all the time. But from what everybody's saying in the videos you watch, he's the real deal. So it's a move for the right direction for sure.
Yeah, Jeff, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, my concern. Look, this was the worst kept secret ever. I mean, this guy was linked to the Rangers for months before July 1st. You know, it's like if you didn't think this was possibly happening, you're living under a rock. I mean, I don't know how there was tampering to that extent. That's how much you heard about him. My concern with him was that they were going to overpay for him in typical Ranger fashion, and they did not. As you said,
no, they didn't.
Deal. And Coach's point is right, and I said this last week on our show. The effect that he can have on it, he can be a big effect on the team, of course, but he might have a really strong effect on Adam Fox and take his game to the next level. And that could be a really good secondary benefit here that no one is talking about. I don't want to say I'm like Coach where, look, he plays in LA. Am I staying up at 10:30 on Tuesday nights watching LA play the Kraken? Absolutely not. I'm not. But the stuff that I've heard about him, I like, and I think they were able to plug a hole, as Coach said, because Trouba's been gone. And they didn't overpay. So I've got no problems with it.
PJ?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's nailed it so far. I heard someone say the best way to describe him is he's a space eater. He takes away in zone. He doesn't allow zone entries. Even when he does, he's stick on puck all the time. He blocks shots. He's always in the lanes. He's always in the right spot. Doesn't really ever leave his feet. He's such a big body. And, you know, hidden underrated thing is he's like best buds with Igor too. So I think that was part of the reason for him taking, you know, less money. And I just think, you know, to the Fox point, yeah, I mean, Lindgren early on, I think we forget how good Lindgren was before his body broke down with Fox. But Gavrikov just having that big body who can clear the net and allow Fox more freedom, you know, and we can get on to Fox another time, but I think between having Gavrikov there, all the crap Fox took last year and having a long off season, it's just you're waiting for him to break back out and show everybody how damn good he is. So I'm excited from that standpoint too.
I never got PJ and Coach. I never got your guys' thoughts on this. Jeff and I had talked about this at nauseam this offseason about the Chris Kreider trade, which in my opinion it had to be done. As much as it sucks that he is gone, it's going to be weird not seeing him in a Ranger uniform. In my personal opinion, this is something that had to get done because I asked the question, out of Kreider or Zibanejad, which was more likely to get traded? I said Kreider because Zibanejad has a no trade clause. So it was more likely that Zibanejad was not going to waive his and Kreider was going to waive his. So in my opinion, the way that they handled the Kreider situation was definitely much better than how they handled Jacob Trouba. And it sucks to see him go. But this was a decision that it had to get done. It saves up a lot of salary cap, so you can do a lot more, possibly next offseason, because next year's free agent class is supposedly going to be absolutely stacked. So we'll see about that. But, Coach, what did you think about that whole Chris Kreider trade?
Well, I'm a big fan of Kreider and the loyalty thing, but on our podcast, Little Ed had definitely said it, I thought, right on. We've been complaining about his inconsistencies for 10 years. I mean, yes, he had the 52-goal season or 54, whatever it was. He's 52. Had a couple of good seasons. He stepped up his game with the deflections and all that. He really works hard, but he's a hit and miss. He was relatively invisible all season. Back to when he was, 4 or 5 years ago, when it was like one game, yes, 2 games, no. Do I want to see him go? No, but it was a business decision, and I think it's a better team for. We have a lot of young guys coming in that are going to need opportunities. Cooley moving up possibly, Laffy getting some more time. So all that stuff adds into the mix where it's about time they get rid of a veteran. I don't think Zibanejad would have been the correct choice because if he has a bounce back year, look, the way I look at it, Fox's played decline because Zibanejad wasn't successful. Kreider's played decline because Zibanejad wasn't successful. You know, those guys were getting assists, just giving it to Zibanejad a lot, and vice versa, and it wasn't happening. So the whole thing was a perfect storm for those 3 or 4 guys, and I think that was the right move. Unfortunately, I still think they could put his number in the rafters someday, but who knows? We'll see.
PJ, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like Coach said, your heart says no. You want him to retire a Ranger. Stay after, especially it just seemed crazy a year after his hat trick in Carolina that it got to that point. It's just a shame.
Yeah. Honestly, PJ, I don't mean to cut you off. I apologize, but that might be the best moment in his entire Ranger tenure, if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
for sure. Absolutely. I mean, it was. I still have chills thinking about it. And
same here.
I
haven't stopped thinking about it.
I still can't believe they didn't win the cup that year. It just felt like that magic, and it still hurts.
Terrible.
But yeah, your head, your heart wants it to stay, but the head realizes that 1, he's breaking down a little bit, and 2, they need that cap space. If they don't trade him, they're probably not getting Gavrikov. Who knows what else they can do? And I kind of like Coach alluded to, you have some other wingers there, like Cooley needs to step up, and then it opens up a spot, potentially for Perot or Berard or Othman down the line to take a spot and get more rain. And they've been begging for that because it feels like they've been blocked for years and years and years. All these young players have. So, it'll be, I think they need to break up a core a little bit. I would have liked more, to be honest. I think they need a refresh, but especially after how bad last year was. So, yeah, it's tough, but it had to be done. And, everyone's expendable at a certain extent.
Jeff, you got a response to that quick?
Yeah, I mean, I don't look. I've never been as huge of a Chris Kreider guy as most of the Ranger fans. It's not to say that I dislike the guy because I never have. That might be just a personal thing. I went to Boston University and he went to Boston College. I don't know if that's ingrained in my head, but but it had to be done. You can't be paying a guy $6.5 million, as PJ said, in a team that needed the cap relief. He's been injury prone. Look, he's given you great memories. He'll be remembered for a long time around here, as he should be. But this is a business after all. It's not, and from a business point of view, I don't know how you can argue against the deal, especially as PJ just said, like that. Without that cap relief, everyone that's excited about Gavrikov, you can't have both. You can't have Kreider and Gavrikov. And who would you rather have right now? I would say the answer is probably Gavrikov.
Yeah. I think we all can attest to that. Now, what about the more of like the depth guys that they signed, like Taylor Radish, Calvin DeHaan, and those guys? What do we think of those signings? PJ, I'll throw it to you first.
Yeah, Radish is kind of underrated. I think a lot of people don't remember him. I mean, he scored 20 goals when he was just Chicago, so he can pop a little bit. Obviously, that's not going to be his role here, but he's a big body. I mean, if your analytics looking at it, he was really good the last few years, especially in Washington. He's a great defensive forward. He can play PK for them, play shutdown minutes. I think he's going to, chip in 15, 20 points, if not more, and can play great ad for the bottom 6. I think they needed that for sure. And then there's some good depth in Hartford, they brought Trey Fix-Olansky in, who's got some talent. They had Sherry as the PTO. So it seems like there's going to be some good camp battles and depth in Hartford, for when guys inevitably get hurt.
Yeah. Jeff, what do you think?
Look, I think not to go off to open up another question to what we're talking about with this topic. I mean, I think they're lacking. I think they're lacking in the bottom 6. Like, I think when you look at this team, I think the top 6 can be good. I wouldn't bet my mortgage on it, but I wouldn't be surprised either if they're good. The bottom 6, there's a pretty significant drop off right now. So to cycle in a bunch of depth guys and maybe also try and plug some of those roles with some of the youth that you guys talked about before, I don't mind the moves. I mean, it's never going to hurt you against the cap. I mean, put them all in training camp, when it opens on Wednesday, and see who comes out. I'm fine with it. I don't have a problem with any of it.
Coach?
I mean, bottom six guys to me are like offensive linemen in football. You have to get that. The successful teams get the right mix of those guys, talent and grit. And that's what the goal is of a GM every year, pretty much. Every team goes through it. You know, you're not going to win football games without 5 offensive linemen playing together. Those are the unsung heroes, and that's what the bottom 6 guys are. You look at Florida, all these successful.
I don't mean to cut you off, Coach. I apologize,
right.
but do you want to explain that to the Giants who got dismantled by the Commanders this past week?
Look, I've been saying it. Look, I'm not that big into the Giants anymore, so I don't even know what this. I was a big Giant fan in the 80s and 90s, so I've been through the 70s with that. Trust me, it's not easy. But when they were successful, they had offensive linemen, and Daniel Jones. Look what he did yesterday.
Oh my God!
I mean, I'm not saying he's
honestly,
not Aaron Rodgers.
I'm sick to my stomach over that.
I'm not saying he's Aaron Rodgers, but
no,
when you don't have time to throw a football, I don't care who's back there. You know, it's just that's just basic blocking. You know, it's whatever. But that's what
anyway. Please continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I go with the bottom 6. You know, Drury's made a lot of moves with the bottom 6 in the last couple of years. When you find that right mix and you get those guys, Radish seems like he's a good fit with that kind of character and attitude and a touch of scoring ability. So, you know, again, every year, every team's going through making those, you know, $1 million contracts, $900,000 contracts to find that right mix to get them into the playoffs and over the hump, because that frees up a lot for the top 6.
Yeah.
You know, no one realizes that, you know, you need to free up time of those top 6 guys from getting beat up all the time when they got to play 25 minutes a game. So if you could get that mix, it's very important.
100% agree with you. Now, let's move on to the coaching staff, shall we? Because we have a whole new shakeup with the coaching staff for the Rangers. We got Mike Sullivan as the new head coach, who clearly wanted this job. He's been wanting it for a long time, but he finally gets this opportunity to come to the Rangers. People forget, though, that he was an assistant coach under John Tortorella from 2009 to 2013, and he comes back to the Rangers organization as a head coach this time around, having won 2 Stanley Cups with the Pittsburgh Penguins. He also brings in David Quinn, a familiar name for Ranger fans. He was the team's head coach from 2018 to 2021 and also served as an assistant coach with the Penguins last season under Mike Sullivan, so he brings him back as well. They also have Joe Sacco, after most recently serving as the interim head coach for the Boston Bruins, and he spent 9 seasons as an assistant coach with them. And then you have Ty Hennis, who I have never heard of. But with that being said, Jeff, I'll throw it to you first on this. Do you like this coaching staff, and do you think it'll make a difference, mainly for the veteran players, especially for Mika Zibanejad?
I like the coaching staff. If I didn't like the coaching staff, my parents would kill me. I told you I went to Boston University. Chris Drury went there. Mike Sullivan went there. David Quinn went there. And Joe Sacco went there. So if I don't like the coaching staff, I've got a real problem with my alma mater, and my parents are going to ask me to pay them back for my college.
Jeez, man.
But I like it. The one thing I will say, I was surprised. Well, I guess I'm not surprised. The amount of people that got annoyed about David Quinn coming back, who cares? He's not in the same role, right? He's not. I could understand if he came back as a head coach again and you say, well, it didn't work the first time. Why is it going to work the second time? Who cares? The guy's had now 2 head coaching jobs, obviously the Rangers and San Jose. He's been part of the Olympic staff behind the scenes. He was assistant coach on Pittsburgh. I'm fine with it. And look, Mike Sullivan was the best coach available at this year's coaching crop. If you want to argue to me that Joe Quenneville was a better hockey coach, maybe you are right. I don't know. But I will tell you the PR nightmare that Joe Quenneville would have brought you in the New York market would have been a disaster. He could never have coached here with no chance. So
100% agree.
I'm looking forward to it. If you look at this core, last thing I'm going to say about this, with this core, they've had a new coach twice. They had him with Gallant and they had him in Laviolette. What is the common thing that has happened in the first year? The new coach has been able to grab the locker room and have had really good years. I think Mike Sullivan is experienced enough to say, here's the strengths that this group can play to. Here's what we're not going to play to. And I would expect the coaching staff to have a good year.
Your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. From first-time touchdown score to anytime touchdown props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. Now I'm looking at some odds here to win the Super Bowl. I'm seeing the Buffalo Bills are at plus 475 to win it all. That might be something I'd go after, but that's just me. What you want to bet on is up to you. And new customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, score over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN to score $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus, over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer.
Yeah, I mean, before this segment, you were talking about did they get better in the offseason? Yes, and some of the players did it. But the big thing for me, why they're better, is because of Mike Sullivan. I mean, the guy is a legit head coach. I think he's top 5 in the league. And
wow, okay.
I mean, there's a reason why he's coaching USA, in the Olympics and 4 nations. Not many people win back-to-back cups in this league. But I just think he's going to set that precedent, set the culture, which they badly need. Then the core needs a wake-up call. And I think just his style alone defensively, not having any more man-to-man like we did with Laviolette, which was absolute chaos in the D zone for this team, that right there is going to make them better. And then to Jeff's point, yeah, I was one of them initially that was a little lukewarm or not thrilled with David Quinn coming back. But then when you realize that the Penguins had one of the worst power plays in the league 2 years ago, Quinn brought them from like 29th to top 10, maybe top 5. So when we saw how bad the Rangers power play was last year, so him getting that back to where we're used to, and then him having a more focused role instead of like a head coach when he was kind of out of his depth will help a lot. And then Joe Sacco was, part of a lot of great Bruins teams in those 9 years. So he's got really good experience, managing players and a good veteran bench. And then Ty Hennis, just to give you an idea, he was their development coach for a while and then got promoted last year to assistant and did their skating and skill stuff. So just another good young guy, probably can get along with the players and he'll be probably on with them early. So can't hurt.
Well, thank you for the insight on Ty Hennis. I appreciate that. And to echo what Jeff said about David Quinn, I agree. Who cares? Coach, go ahead. What do you think?
I mean, let's give Quinn a little bit of credit. Didn't he coach the COVID year, that whole mess?
Yes.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I mean, come on. How impossible was that as a young coach in the NHL?
Thank you.
To deal with that. I mean, New York just runs people out of town. I've been doing this a long time.
They really do.
Yeah, I mean, every team, not just hockey. I mean, it's ridiculous. But anyway, the guy's a hockey guy. He's a no-nonsense guy. He was successful at BU. I remember when he was coaching, you'd watch interviews. He spoke from his heart. He didn't hold anything back. You knew where he was coming from. There were no secrets. Kind of like Tortorella mindset, only a little more understanding of the young guys, maybe, which I like. So, under Sullivan's tutelage, he'll probably learn a lot more. Like Jeff was saying, he's been in the league a couple of years now, obviously successful with Sullivan, Team USA, and I'm excited about it. I think he'll do fine. And Sullivan, forget it. I mean, PJ will tell you on our show, the thing that I thought was phenomenal was how we went to see Mika Zibanejad in Sweden immediately, straightened it out. The guys are going to know what they are expected of from the start. There's going to be no questions, and they're going to be held accountable. So,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be real exciting. I think he's got a good system. It's a hybrid man-to-man kind of whatever. Who knows? It's a basic system. Bottom line is any system you got, these guys are hockey players. They got to execute it.
I'm glad you brought up the accountability thing, Coach, because that was the one thing last year, other than the offense not converting on the power play, 5-on-5, the usual stuff, not shooting, defense breaking down. The one major thing that was missing was exactly that. There was no ability from anybody, not the coaching staff, not from any of the players. The only guy who you can say actually who gave a damn was JT Miller. Because when they got him back, look, I was of the proponent that I didn't want JT Miller back because I've heard all those things about Vancouver with him being a cancer in the locker room, but I'm glad to say I was dead wrong because ever since JT Miller came back, he has been tremendous and he has stepped up and become that leader, and he is not afraid to hold anybody accountable for when they make a mistake. So I'm glad they brought him back, but it can't be just be him. Everybody's got to hold everybody accountable here, and that's what was missing last year. So I 100% agree with you.
And Elias Pettersson seems like the type of player that doesn't want to be told that he did something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So JT Miller probably, they butted heads, whatever the case is, and I'm glad they got rid of him and we got him back because he developed a whole hell of a lot over the last 5 years. And I think Sullivan, I remember watching Sullivan coaching Pittsburgh for the last 8 or 10 years, and you just see it in his face when they go to him on the screen on the TV. He's either mad at a player, mad at the ref. He's just got that in him where he's just going to say, you got to step up. Stop. I don't want to hear it. Get over it. You made him, I just love the way he's got that look on him, and he's going to look right through the player and they're going to see it. He's not even going to have to say anything.
I've always loved that about Mike Sullivan. I definitely think he'll bring an edge. Jeff, you got a quick response?
I hated him. Don't get me. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I hated him.
Please go ahead.
I hated him as a Pittsburgh coach. Because you just hated to play them, but you got to give him a lot of credit.
100%.
Yeah,
no,
I agree with everything, and I think Coach brings up a really good point. I don't know that I've ever heard it with David Quinn. Is when you look at his body of work here, he was here in that COVID year where you played the same team back-to-back days. You played your division 97 times in 3 months. You had no fans in the stands, and he never had a training camp that year, which was also the beginning for Lafreniere. So, yeah, I mean, look, I think he'll do well here. I think there's a lot of room to improve and a lot of room to not be any worse, to be honest with you. So I think that he has that going for him. I think he'll do fine.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love this coaching staff personally, and I think that they will do the veterans wonders this season. At least let's hope so for one particular individual, Mika Zibanejad, like I said before. But speaking of the players, let's go to them next. PJ, I'm going to throw this question to you first. Who is going to be your player to watch or players to watch for the 25-26 season?
I'll give you a forward and a defenseman.
Okay.
It's hard to pick just one, right? Lafreniere for me. He has to get back to where he was.
I agree.
I think he's starting the first of his contract that's gone to now over $7 million. And a lot of people forget that he started the year real hot. He had 16 points in 16 games. That's why he got the extension so early. He was kind of building off that playoff. And then when the team tanked, he tanked right there with them. But if he can get back to that level and push it to maybe 70 points, I think he's going to get a chance for some power play time. That'll be really big. And they need it. And for defense, I'm hoping he makes a team. You brought him up earlier, Scott Morrow. I think he could be an X factor if he makes the team. It'll be interesting to see with rookie camp and him playing in the rookie games this weekend. But, I mean, he dominated the AHL in his first pro season and had a nice cup of coffee with the Hurricanes. And I know everyone says he was on for 5 goals against Florida. I mean, Florida's a beast as it is. But if you look underlying, he was on the ice for 8 high danger chances for and only 3 against. So good things are happening when he's on the ice, and they badly need a puck mover other than Fox, because if he doesn't make the team, who's playing second power play as a defenseman? And who is going to move the puck out of any of the other 5 defensemen? They need him to hit.
Yeah, that's a good point you bring up about Morrow. Again, like you said, that's even if he makes the team. I don't know if he will, but if he does, it will definitely be interesting to watch him. Jeff, what about you?
I'll just give you one player,
Okay.
and I'm going to sound like a broken record. I think it has to be Lafreniere.
Okay.
If you go back to August 2020, right? Go picture wherever you were 5 years ago, right? It's a blazing hot Monday. The NHL is broadcasting this draft lotto. You're all into it because you have a 1 in 8 chance somehow because you still made the playoffs in that bubble. Like, it made no sense, but you were into it. And everyone's talking about it. You know, Lafreniere, this kid, when he was playing in the Canadian League, he had better numbers than Crosby had when he played there. And then he gets drafted here. And as PJ said, at the end of the season 2 years ago, particularly in the playoffs and the start of last year, he showed you, I don't want to say that he validated that he could be that player, the Crosby asked, but you saw potential. He was atrocious since he got that contract, to the point that you didn't even know he was playing in games. If you watch him, and I know Coach goes to a lot of games also, if you watched him on the ice, he's so disengaged. He just looks like he's just going through the motions. I don't understand.
Yeah.
So he's the one for me, and there's other players we could mention, but I don't want you guys to be here at 2:30 in the morning. Lafreniere, to me, if his numbers are not a stark improvement this year, there's going to be a fair question to ask at the end of the year as to what do you do with this guy?
Yeah. I mean, not to mention that it was the first year of a 7-year extension where he looked absolutely atrocious. Now, do I personally think he'll be fine? Yes. But if he has the same year like he did last year, then yeah, there's going to be a bunch of questions. Coach?
I personally don't. I'm not picking Lafreniere, but I mean, it's not a bad argument for sure, but I don't see that happening. I just think he's still maturing, and he kind of just went the way the team went. He's not a game changer yet where he's going to step up. I mean, look at JT Miller 5-6 years ago. He wasn't that way. Now he is. I'm not saying he's going to be as tough as that or anything, but he's got to learn. He's still, how old is he, PJ?
He's going to be turning 24 in October or November.
He's still a real young kid, and he's got to learn. And but my pick is going to be Mika. I think the way he goes is the way the team goes. When he's putting points on the board, like I said, Kreider was putting points on the board, Fox was putting points on the board. When he's missing the net and the things aren't working right, it's a tough scar on the team when he's not shooting on all cylinders. I'm not saying that the whole season is going to live and die on him, but we need him to put up 70, 80 points again. And that's going to be a big difference to me. I think Lafreniere will build off of that. A lot of guys will build off of it. There'll be more confidence.
It's hard for me not to agree with Alexis Lafreniere, so I do agree with that. Although, Coach, you make a good argument for Mika Zibanejad. You're not wrong. But for me, I got to say Adam Fox. Adam Fox had probably the worst season I've ever seen in his Rangers career so far. He's also young too. I personally think Adam Fox will be fine, especially with Gavrikov coming at his side now. I think Adam Fox is going to have a bounce back year, and I think offensively Adam Fox will have much better numbers than what we've seen in past years. Like I said, with Gavrikov at his side, he's going to learn a lot from him. So my player to watch is Adam Fox.
That's a good one. Again, all these guys depend on the power play.
Yeah.
But
Fox's points are what's Fox's percentage of points on the power play, like of his total points? Zibanejad as well. I mean, not so much Laffy. He hardly got any playoff power play time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He did good 5-on-5, but what's Fox's playoff power play points?
I shall find out.
Probably 50%.
I shall find that out. But PJ, what do you think about Adam Fox?
Yeah, I mean, I said earlier when we were talking to Gavrikov, I think Fox is primed. I mean, I think he had a down year, but a down year for him was still like he was top 10 in D points in the whole league. I mean, yes, he was the Adam Fox we're accustomed to. No, but I think between Lindgren being a liability last year before he got traded and everything else going with the team, I think, and Fox's knee, I think, was still banged up from that playoff. He didn't get a full off season. But I think between all the crap he took at Four Nations and the fact that Sullivan is the coach of USA for the Olympics, and he's going to want to make that team and prove all that wrong, I think he's going to come out the gates flying. And I know Ryan Whitney on Spitting Chicklets had mentioned, and he heard that Fox is guns a-blazing in the gym this offseason. And I think he has always had success from the get-go. And a lot of these guys are like that, where they realize they don't have to do as much in the offseason because they've always been good. And maybe that was kind of a slap in reality where he's kind of going to take this offseason more seriously. He's had finally a full offseason. I think a lot for these guys is going to, this long offseason is going to be, a benefit to everybody because these guys have had short off seasons, a lot of long runs. I think a lot of guys will be refreshed, hopefully.
By the way, Coach, I don't know if this answers your question fully here, but I looked it up. In the 24-25 season, Adam Fox had a total of 17 power play points with a power play percentage of 7.4%.
Okay, it's not as much as I thought then. I stand corrected.
It's okay. But hey, look,
that could be the difference in. All right, so he didn't have a lot of those power play points last year, correct?
Yes.
Right. So got to pick it
also
up.
getting
back to TJ's point. How about my boy Braden Schneider as the second power play unit?
Oh, please! I want to see that young man get more minutes on the power play. Please,
PJ, huh?
I mean, he's got to. If Morrow doesn't make the team, he will be by default unless they play Fox all 2 minutes. Because who else is doing it? Susie's certainly not doing it. Gavrik's not doing it, and Borgen's not doing it. So who else is going to do it? And Vakanainen either. So it's got to be. I mean, yeah, he's got some good offensive instincts, no doubt. Can he run a power play? I'm not sure, but that's why, to me, Scott Morrow needs to have a good camp and earn it because he is tailor made. Because what he did in college and in the AHL was similar to what Fox did. Not to say he'll be Fox, but he's got a smart head. He can move the puck and shoot it, and they need it bad.
We'll evaluate
Jeff, what do you
this
think?
after this weekend.
Yeah, we'll see.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I agree with what you all said. I think PJ brings up a really good point with Fox. Is look, he had a down year, but can you look at his stats? He wasn't. I mean, we're not talking like he was awful here or the worst defenseman in the league. With Fox, I always worry. He has, to me, he's never looked like the same player since that knee hit in November of 2023 versus Carolina. I don't know if it's a mental thing. I don't know if it's I'm not a doctor. I don't do these things, but I just feel like he hasn't been the same since. But again, the long off season, like you guys said, because they haven't played since April. All of these guys now have 5 or 6 months to recoup. Adam Fox, as they did say on Spittin' Chicklets, is supposedly hitting the gym hard. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what a little bit of rest R&R can do for them.
Let's spin this a little bit, still on the players here. Now, Coach, I'm going to throw this question to you first. Who was a player that had a bad year last year that you think is going to have a comeback year?
Oh, well, I'm going to go right back to Mika. I think he's going to come on strong. I got to stay with the same choice. I think he's going to come on strong. I mean, I'm hoping too, but I think he's going to, like I said, under the new, like you said before, every time we get these new coaches, these guys step up and they have a great season. We've had twice, right? With Gallant and Laviolette. Mika did great the first year, and the second year kind of gets shut down. I don't know for what reason. I don't know if that's just him or what's going on, but I'm going to say he's going to turn it around.
What about you, PJ?
Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm just manifesting it by saying Mika. I mean, you could say everybody but Cooley, really. I mean, we hope everyone's better.
Yeah. Will Cooley's off the table. He was the only one that had an unbelievable year last year.
But yeah, I mean, it has to be Mika. I think he knows. I mean, he said he was going through some crazy stuff early in the year. I mean, he was as almost borderline unplayable for the first half of that year. I mean, he was just straight up bad. And he knows it. I think he's a proud guy and played a lot better on JT Miller's wing. And it seems like, based on Sullivan's comments in the NHL.com article, that he's going to start that way. So having a simplified role on the wing is going to help him. I think he's going to want to be motivated because, again, Sweden is the Olympics. I think it's going to be a big motivator for a lot of guys. And then I think too, with Kreider not there, maybe it just frees him up a little bit to not, have someone to defer to. On the power play, how many times did we see Mika not hit the one-timer the last few years because he was trying that fake shot pass down low to Kreider? Maybe
Way
he
too
starts
many
to let it
times.
fly. Yeah, I mean, hopefully he starts letting it fly and he could shoot it. I mean, they need it, and that'll help the power play. It'll help his confidence and flow from there. And I mean, they need him to be back because I think Johnny Lazarus posted on Twitter the 2022 playoff run he had when he was on a heater there. I mean, he was he drove the team. It was the engine. I mean, if he can get back to that level, man, they're such a different team. They really are.
Jeff?
So I want to say the answer to bad to good is Lafreniere, but I can't do that. I'm going to make it threes. Three's a charm. I'm going to say Mika for the reasons that Coach and PJ already said. He was borderline unplayable, exactly like what's been said. So if you can be the engine driver and you were at the same time unplayable, that's a big difference. So he's the one that I think is going to benefit under Sullivan, and I really hope it's true.
Well, I'm going to make it quadruple because I agree with all of you. It's hard not to say Mika Zibanejad. And PJ, you brought up a good point with Chris Kreider no longer being there. Maybe this will free him up to shoot the puck more, not be so restricted with trying to do the fake pass, fake the shot, going into the zone, all that stuff. Maybe we see a little bit less hesitation for him. I know there was a chemistry with Zibby and Kreider. I get it. But that chemistry was kind of fading off last year. Now that Kreider's no longer there, let's see what Zibanejad does now that he has a lot more freedom, so to speak. So we all are in agreement that answer is Mika Zibanejad. Now, to wrap up this episode, here comes the big question. And Jeff, I'm going to throw it to you first. Based on what we've seen this offseason, with the roster that's constructed with the coaching staff, in their centennial season, will the New York Rangers make the playoffs this year?
They will, but they will not be the President's Trophy winning team of 2 years ago. They will make the playoffs because their division is also not very good. And I think they're going to pick up a lot of points for some teams in the Metropolitan Division that are not good. I do not expect them to win the division. I think that's Carolina. And I still think the Devils and probably the Caps, if they stay healthy, in particular Jack Hughes in that discussion, I think they're better than the Rangers. Right now, the Rangers' bottom six worries me. I think the Rangers get in as a wild card. Where I am okay, and I'm not losing sleep over that at night, is if you look back to Florida when they lost to Vegas in the Cup final, it's a wild card the last day of the season. What carries you in the playoffs every year? I mean, Coach is the hockey god of all Ranger podcasts. He knows this. It's goaltending, right? They have Rangers have Igor Shesterkin. So if you get in at the wild card, I'm going to be completely as vested as I would be if they won the Metro and got in, because Igor can carry them. So I think they do make it. I don't think they're going to have the greatest regular season ever, but I think they'll be okay enough to get in with the wild card and then roll the dice, baby.
PJ?
Yeah, they're getting in. I mean, as bad as last year was, they missed the playoffs by 6 points. It's 3 wins. I mean, really, in that 4-15 stretch they had in that month and a half, 2 months there, if they just won 3 more games, they're in last year. And I think they're much better positioned between the new coach and everything we talked about. So I'd be stunned if they didn't. I think they are going to surprise some teams and people. I think they're going to be top 3 in the division. I do. I think the Caps had everything go right last year. Everything. Everyone at career years, they're riding off the Ovi train. Ovi was reincarnated. Logan Thompson played out of his mind. I just think everything went perfect for them. And I think they're going to take a small step back. They'll probably still be in the playoffs, but and then, like Jeff said, the Devils have injury concerns. I'm not saying they're better than them, but my manifesting, and I've been thinking about it since we did our rivalry tour episode versus the Devils, is it's going to be 2-3 Devils Rangers first round. Rangers beat the Devils, redeem from 2012 and 2 years ago. I'm seeing it through.
I don't know if my anxiety level could. I don't know if my anxiety level could handle Ranger Devils again. I'm not.
I don't know if mine can either.
And look, PJ brings up a great point as to how that could realistically happen, right? 2-3, whichever one's 2, the other one's 3. I mean, it's possible, right? But
yeah.
I just like I remember that series taking years off my life. I mean, winning the first 2 games on the road and then being up 1-0 in game 3 in the second period, and Dougie Hamilton scores some stupid goal. I mean, just
What are you guys gonna do? I was there at Game 7. Game 7 in '94.
Oh no!
You're worried about anxiety levels?
Oh.
Come on,
I'm
suck
so
it up.
sorry.
I can't even imagine.
I'm still have a pit in my stomach over that series. I mean, they should
Suck it up, guys. Listen, I bring on the Devils. Beat their ass again. I'm sick of this crap, man.
go. Let's go.
Listen,
Fighting
I'm always touting their defense. I thought they had good defense for the defensemen for the last 4 or 5 years. Obviously, I think this is a real good core the way they made these changes. If Gavrikov plays the way he's touted to play, I love Vakanainen and Borgen in the back. I love Schneider. So to me, they're set. I think they play the Devils. It's a different team this year. I'm excited to see how they go. I'm taking them. I agree with PJ. I think they're going to sneak in at least the 3rd spot in the division. I don't see Carolina as being that strong. They're always in the game. They're always in it. They could win the division. I think it's going to be coming down to the last 2 weeks of the season, and it's going to be within those few points. It's anybody's. I don't see anybody running away with it.
Wow.
This is why, can I just say, this is why Coach Ed is amazing. We're sitting here at September 8th. The preseason has not even started yet. For energy on September 8th. It's amazing. I love it. I absolutely love it.
You have to look at the intangibles. Sullivan, there's so many intangibles that they have right now. Full season of JT Miller in camp. Mika got ignited the last 15, 20 games playing with him. I'm just excited. I think that I think Fox, like PJ said, is going to come back stronger. There's a lot of positives going. I see the Devils as soft. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Wow. So PJ and Coach have them top 3 in the Metro.
I'm not saying first or second. I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be good enough to be in the 3rd spot.
Okay,
I think so.
That's totally fine, Coach. No arguments there. But unfortunately, I do agree with Jeff. I do think they will get in as a wild card team, only because look, I saw what the Caps did last year. PJ, they might take a step back, but unfortunately, I don't see that happening, considering the fact that we've been hearing rumors that this might be Ovi's last year. Maybe he has a little bit more left in the tank from last year after breaking Gretzky's record. You never know. I don't see the Caps taking a step back. I really don't. That division has Carolina's to lose until proven otherwise. I'm still taking Carolina to win that division. I think the top teams are going to be Carolina winning the division. It's going to be the Devils, even though I still have concerns about their injuries, especially with Jack Hughes, and I have questions about their goaltending. It's going to be the Caps 3rd, and then the Rangers will get in as the 1st wild card team. So I do think the Rangers will get back in the playoffs as the 1st wild card team. However, let me spin this the opposite direction. Let's play devil's advocate to wrap this up. If, for some unknown reason, we have the same season we did last year, and the Rangers missed the playoffs, other than Chris Drury possibly getting fired, what the hell do we think happens here? Because if we have the same situation again, we're going to have probably more questions this year than we were last year. Am I wrong, Jeff?
I think you're right, but to answer that, honestly, what would you do in that situation? It's hard to answer that without having the data of what this year is and what went wrong specifically. Like,
that's fair.
Was it certain players that again that we were on saying they're going to have a rebound year and they didn't? Was it a coaching? I mean, it's hard to say. The only thing I will say is, and it drives me crazy when people talk about the Rangers possibly going into a rebuild. You just re-signed your goalie to the highest goalie contract ever. You didn't do that to rebuild the team. There's zero chance this team will go into a rebuild, regardless of how this year pans out. You cannot sign the richest goalie ever in the prime of his career to be here for a rebuild. So I can tell you that Chris Drury, even if the year is bad, like, you're maybe, procrastinating in the worst case scenario, even if that happens, they're not going into a rebuild. You just signed Igor Shesterkin for 8 years.
I agree with you 100%, Jeff. I mean, to me, they have a really good hockey team, and it's a matter of getting them on the same page as a team. Like in any other sport, we keep saying it. And I think Sullivan is going to be a big part of that. I think it's going to be a little bit of a surprise. I don't hate that they make it in as a wild card. I think it could be anybody. Those top 4 teams, it's going to be a matter of 4 points here, and if they get in as a wild card, I still give PJ's going to love this. We got Igor. If we have a good team and we got Igor, no other team in the division has Igor.
Fair
That's
point.
the bottom line. So
What do you got,
I'm
PJ?
a big Igor defender
big
on
X
our
factor.
podcast.
Look,
What were you saying, PJ? I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry.
going to give it to him if he's not doing good, but he is good, and he's a top goalie in the league. And if he's there and the team is playing a little bit above average, they're way above average with him.
Go ahead, PJ. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I would say I'm the Igor defender and the goalie guy on our podcast. Like, I'm Igor till I die. I was that with Hank and Richter. I love them all. But yeah, he is unbelievable. I mean, I love that we got on a tangent with him because it makes me smile thinking about him. He's so damn good. Like, as a former goalie who didn't really go anywhere, the way he plays, I can go on for hours. But you're talking about your point about what if everything goes wrong. Right off the bat, Panarin's gone. He's probably traded at deadline.
Oh,
that's
100%. Yeah. If things go wrong, Panarin's not coming back.
That's a guarantee. The rest, like Jeff said, is you don't really know what happened. But I mean, what wouldn't be off the table? I know Sullivan's not going anywhere.
No.
But yeah, and also there's no way they're rebuilding. Fox is signed long term too. But maybe that's enough to finally push Meek out the door. Who knows? Is Lafreniere gone? Did he struggle then? Like Jeff said, there's so many variables you don't know. But I mean, God, I don't want to live in that universe. But everything will be on the table. But for sure, number one guarantee is Panarin will not be re-signed. I mean, that's up for grabs too, depending upon if these big free agents re-sign or not. It'll be interesting to see where we are next summer. But that will be the one guarantee if things go bad.
I could not agree more. It would hurt to see Panarin not come back, but if things go sideways yet again, I can't see a scenario in which he would come back. Any of you two gentlemen have a response to that real quick?
Well,
Go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to say, PJ's right. I mean, could you imagine if, and we don't want this to be the case, but if you were eliminated by the deadline or it was like last year, you know how much value Panarin has as a rental? What you could get back? I mean, it might set a record for what a rental would be, actually, if you think about it.
You're right.
So, I mean, again, let's hope that they're not shipping, because you get rid of Panarin at the deadline, you're not making a cup run. I don't care. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. So, you're not, but yeah, I mean, look, I think if there's a legitimate chance that Panarin is not back next year for sure, if they have a bad year, and if they're out at the deadline, he's got to go at the deadline, because why lose him for nothing when you could get a haul for some contending team?
Coach?
But would he have to okay that still?
Yes, but at that point, why wouldn't he?
Right. He doesn't want to play meaningless hockey here for 2 months.
Point, yeah.
Gotcha.
That's a fair point. But gentlemen, this was such a fun and spirited discussion. We all agree that the Rangers will indeed make the playoffs. Jeff and I have them as a wild card team. PJ and Coach have them finishing in somewhere in the top 3. Before we wrap things up, Coach, I'm going to leave this to you and PJ. Tell people where they can find your show and where they can find you on social media.
Well, you're going to have to leave it to PJ.
I had a feeling I would take that one, but you can find us. We live stream on YouTube. Our episodes every Wednesday. We got one coming up this Wednesday. We're doing our rivalry tour. The Islanders are next, but we're on Twitter, Instagram, Rangers Ed Pod. Twitter's Rangers_Ed Pod. Anywhere podcast you can listen to. You can rewatch our stuff on YouTube. We post a lot of content on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We'll have to get those clips out there, and it's been a blast joining the team.
Jeff, what about your show?
So we're back to weekly stuff. That started last week. That kicked off our 6th season. We'll actually have our 200th episode this Wednesday. We're on Wednesday mornings, 10 a.m. live. If you join on Instagram or YouTube, which a lot of people do on Wednesday mornings, you can fire us your questions at any time. You can also listen on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify. If you want us, you can find us. You have no excuse. So that's very good.
Especially when you're hitting 200 episodes. Congratulations, you guys. That's awesome.
Very cool. Yeah, we were gonna have Sam Rosen on actually Wednesday. We had it all set. I got to a real 20-second story.
Go
This
ahead.
is not my real job. I have a real job. Sam Rosen's wife ended up 2 years ago becoming a client of mine. Like,
What?
you know, with me, I didn't know it was her. Yeah, the complete bizarre. So they've now become repeat clients. So I was over at their house for work 2 weeks ago, and I hung out with Sam on his deck for 45 minutes. This guy could not be the nicest. It could not be nicer. It's unbelievable how nice this guy is. So he wants to come on, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna segue it so that it's going to be episode 200. It'll work out well. He's going golfing with his grandkids in Canada this week, so he will not be there. He'll be out in a couple of weeks, but that is where you can find us. And Ed Coach has been on a lot with us. And anyone who knows me knows there is no bigger fan on the Ranger podcast circuit of anyone than I am of Coach Ed. He knows I love him. I think he's the funniest guy ever.
Hell yeah.
Especially what you need to do, Jimmy. If you ever have him on again, and I know we're out of time, ask him his thoughts on Vitaly Kravtsov. That's all you got to do to get him going.
He'll be here all
You
night.
want to go there? You want to go there?
No,
Really?
not tonight. Not tonight. Not tonight. I got to go. But
Hey guys, a lot of fun. Jimmy, thanks for having me on. Me and PJ and Jeff.
Oh man.
Good to talk to you. Thanks for those
thank you.
compliments.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Jimmy. Nice pleasure to meet you too, Jeff. And then
You guys.
quick on the Sam Rosen thing.
Yeah, go
As
ahead.
he said how weird it's going to be this season without him and Joe.
Oh,
It kind of hit me the other day. I'm like, God damn, we're not going to see them on. They're
Hey, you know what though? Kenny and Dave are gonna make great television together,
they're
just
gonna
like
be
they do on
great.
radio.
Yeah,
I
100%.
love those two guys.
Gentlemen, this was such a blast. Thank you guys so much. I would love to have all of you on again real soon, possibly during the season. And hey, maybe even a couple of watch parties too, but we shall see. But always a pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Let's do it again real soon.
Have a good night,
You got it.
fellas.
Anytime, Jimmy.
You guys too. Take care. Huge thank you to Jeff from Mind Your Pucking Business and PJ and Coach Ed from the Rangers Ed podcast for joining me for this Rangers Roundtable. We all do agree that the Rangers will make the playoffs. Jeff and I have them as a wild card team. PJ and Coach Ed both have them somewhere sliding somewhere in the top three. Let's hear from you. What do you think? Do the Rangers make the playoffs this year? What do you think of their offseason? The whole deal. Let us know what you thought of our discussion on X and Instagram at BlueSeats94 and use the hashtag BlueSeats to chat with us. You can also send us fan mail giving us your opinion from the Blue Seats at gmail.com. That's from the Blue Seats at gmail.com. Make sure you follow us on social media as well. Helps us out a lot. Also, make sure you leave a like on YouTube and subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified of all episodes. And subscribe on Spotify, Apple, YouTube Music, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And be sure to rate us 5 stars. It would mean the absolute world to us. Season 3 is here, and hockey is right around the corner. We are one day closer to New York Rangers hockey. By the way, I'm doing a field goal because of football, but you get my drift. If you're watching on YouTube, one day closer to Rangers hockey. Their centennial year, and hopefully it'll be a much better year for our boys. I'm Jimmy Fanizzi. This is From the Blue Seats, a New York Rangers podcast presented by DraftKings. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next episode. Go Blue Shirts! Peace!